Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games and a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball, and it's episode number 58 in the series. We are ready to get the season started. Let's check in on the month or so since we wrapped up the last episode. We had our contact period, and so we were able to go through and do a fair amount of recruiting. A lot of the best players got away, but not all. We were able to grab one key player and a second pretty good one right behind him. So Shannon Robinson, power forward, 3.0 GPA, high school senior, and he is an overall A player who is in A both in scoring and in defense. He's going to do a lot of big things for us. Pretty good rebounder, pretty good passing. So, big time player coming in. 20 points per game here in high school. 6'11". So, Shannon Robinson, big time recruit for us. Coming in at number 33. He's been hovering actually in the low 20s throughout these rankings, and I think his rank might be dropping a little bit now simply because he signed for us and we're lower prestige. And the reality, what school you sign for should not affect the rankings, but in real life it always does. You'll have somebody who's completely unranked, never even been noticed by the recruiting services, and then suddenly, like say in football, Alabama comes for a visit, and all of a sudden the player's in the top 150. Just like that. No one ever even heard of him before a few days. But if Alabama likes him, he must be good. Also, another Robinson. We are having two Robinsons come to the school. The other one is Ron Robinson, and he's actually a power forward as well out of Seattle, Washington. Another high school senior, 6'8", and he is coming to play for us as well. He is a B overall, but he was the next best recruit. That means we are taken care of at that post position for a long time coming. We're not going to need another senior this year, center this year, by any means. But he is good in scoring. He's all right in defense. Good shot blocker. Shoots well inside. Decent overall. There's nothing bad that he does. He'll probably get 1 year as a starter. May end up redshirting that first year, potentially, depending on how good he is coming in. And his rank currently is 54. He was 61 when he signed with us. Just recently jumping in the rankings to 108, George Brown is there on our radar. He's a small forward. That's a position I have not filled yet. Frank Bain is not somebody who's been on my radar at all, but could be. Calvin Jefferson, we actually just finished getting information on him as he was last on our list. He was all the way down at 830, but he just jumped back up to 198. Another small forward. This player is a tough nut to crack. Ranked 209th, ninth point guard in the region. This is the only point guard I have left on my list, and I desperately need a point guard. Also, we are based in Portland. He's from Portland, Westview High School. High school senior, good GPA. Yeah, kind of tall for a point guard at 6'3". Not a scorer, but he is an A in passing. He's got a B in stealing. This is not an amazing player, but I really need a point guard. And over and over again, his interest drops off to nothing. So this is somebody who really doesn't like us, but he's all I've got right now in the point guard department. Maxwell was another one that was tough to crack, but we have gotten through to him. Yeagle is somebody who, as a shooting guard, we're slowly starting to move up his list, 9th. And there's good things that would make him recruitable. O'Hanlon, local kid, cares about location. And another small forward position I have not filled yet. Ray Davis is the one that does have a scholarship offered right now. Is a shooting guard, was the top shooting guard, but he's actually dropped down the list. And we have gone absolutely nowhere with him since the last contact day when we first started going after him. So here's what's going to happen. I waited a couple weeks to do this. It's time to let him go. Ray Davis, we're revoking scholarship offer, and I'm going to take him off my list. Why? Because the next guy on the list, Mark Jones, has signed for us. Local kid from the Dalles, a B in scoring, a B in defense, a B in ball handling, well-rounded kid, much better than his ranking suggests. Based on our evaluation, I have scouted him a lot. And Mark Jones continues to look good. So, I think we've got a steal in Mark Jones. He's not going to be an amazing player, but this kid could definitely turn into a solid starter. Probably a 4-star potential, at least a 3.5-star potential, and I see him getting there. I see him hitting 3.5 stars or 4 stars with us. GPA slightly low at 2.8, but he should qualify. And with him secure, and he's been secure for a while now, I think we are going to do just fine with him at shooting guard. So I need either a point guard or a small forward. What I really need, though, is a point guard. But I do have small forwards waiting in the wings. And the last guy on the list here is Jerron Webb. And Webb he's from Montana, so that kind of hurts, but he's a big guy. Another high school senior. And we are number 3 on his list without any kinds of visits or anything. I've thought about offering. He's a B scoring, B defense, but C overall. But he's not weak anywhere. This is a solid enough player. Ranking was okay. He was inside the top 500. He was inside the top 250 initially. But as he hasn't been recruited by a whole lot of schools, we have climbed. And decent looking kid. So I've thought about offering him, thinking that there's a good chance he actually would sign, and we'd be done with recruiting. And I may still do that yet, but I'm not going to do that right now. So what I am going to do right now, and Davis hates us now that we revoked the scholarship offer, what I'm going to do right now is we're going to try something. First, we're going to go ahead and offer the scholarship to Johnson and see if I get any sort of reaction by next week. If he still has no interest in us and I call him and it doesn't unlock any interest, then I'm going to move on and we're actually going to go on another point guard hunt. But in the meantime, for this week, it's time to start the season. We'll get to our first game before I jump into it, but here we go. So we're going to open the season with Alabama A&M. We're going to look at a few things, though, before that first game. First off, Alabama A&M is a decent squad. It doesn't show it now, but during the scheduling it showed me kind of who was what. Should be a winnable game. But then things are going to get tough for a little while. We are going to Hawaii for a tournament. This is something that's kind of new to my squad, as we've been ranked so low. We haven't been to any of these invitationals, and you look at this, and we've got Georgia, and here is Georgia's schedule. Georgia is a top team. They're not ranked, but they are very much just on the edge of it. And we're not technically home. It's neutral. So we very well could lose that game. We will not be the favorites. And then we're at Albany, and they're in a high division. And then we're at Alcorn State. They're in a higher division. And then we're at number 7, UConn, who's actually already lost their opening game. Wow. They're going to be dropping in ranking a bit. But, Conference A, UConn. And then at Provo, probably the more beatable team of those, but we could lose all 4 of those road games, and the Georgia game. So we could open the season 1-5. Scary prospect. After that, I like our chances a lot better in the next 5 all home games through December. I think we could very well win all of those, but we could easily be 6-5 in a non-conference play before entering our first conference game of the season. A little scary. The good thing going for us, though, is the roster's looking kind of nice right now. Now, we've seen this part of the roster. Let's see the ratings. So at point guard, Hearns, 2.5 stars. Moore is 3 stars. At shooting guard, we've got Waltman, 3.5. And Jenkins, 2 stars. Small forward, we are so deep at small forward. Swift is 2.5 stars, and he's way down the depth chart. But Milton, 3.5 stars, is our 6th man. Monroe, 4 stars. Great player in Chris Monroe. Power forward, Eisenhower, 2 stars. Backing up Brian Steele at 3 stars. And Fitz, 3.5 stars, with Jason Lewis backing him up at 2.5. So we are very, very deep at a lot of positions. So a quick glance at the depth chart. Jenkins, I am redshirting, and this is the first time I have ever redshirted a walk-on, just to see what I can get out of it. He's only 1 star overall anyway, but maybe that 5th year of eligibility, by the time he's a senior, maybe he'll hit 2.5 stars and get us a few minutes. Maybe. Swift, Hill, Petty, I don't expect much time out of those guys, but Eisenhower and Jenkins, they could play a little. But then from Lewis on up, these 9 players are going to split some time. And look how good we are looking. I mean, our weakest starters are Steele and Moore at 3 stars. And with Milton on the bench backing them up, and 3 more pretty solid guys even behind that, we've got a lot of depth this year. And one thing in particular that is really strong is the defense. I don't think I've had a team that the first 6 were this deep in defense, 36 or better. I've really, really worked at recruiting decent defenders these last few years. And you can see from Petty on up, we have got quality defenders. Alright, well, no more waiting. You came to watch some basketball. Let's see it. You know what? I'm going to skip this game. We'll go to the Hawaiian Invitational. How about we do that? I think we've got a win here. That Georgia game is going to be tough, but let's see what we can do in Hawaii. We do get that win to open the season. 76-51. Glance at the box score here, but let's move quickly into that next game. Chris Monroe, player of the game with 18 points and 7 boards. 7 of 15 shooting, plus 22 overall. Fitz had a pretty big day too with 12 points on a plus 22. 7 boards for him. A lot of rebounds by starter Milton. Great job off the bench. He put in 27 minutes with a big lead like that. He had 13 points. Monroe. Let's see here. Where is your assists? There we go. Wow, just 4 assists. We need a little more than that. I suppose when you're individually that dominant over a team, you're not going to get as many assists because a lot of guys are going to drive the lane or take wide open jumpers and not necessarily off the pass. It could be off the dribble. All right, well, here we go with Georgia. Again, this is going to be a neutral one. In fact, we're considered to be the road team on this. All right, still not up yet. One more day. And here we go. Georgia has not played a game, so this is their first game of the season. Western Carolina and Peoria are both at this Hawaiian shootout as well. So if we were to get past Georgia, if the winner of that game was our next game, I like our chances. I like our chances anyway, but I don't know if this is a one and done, or if it's a little mini tournament with winners moving on. A lot of these you get just 4 teams at the Invitational, and 2 winners play, 2 losers play on the next day. Not always the case, though. All right, the Georgia Bulldogs. I have not seen the scouting report, so I'm not quite sure how we compare. So we'll just have to jump in and get it going. But through the first 2 minutes, only 1 score. Bit of a slow start there, but we gain a little momentum. The scores are level at 5 after the first 5 minutes, but we get things rolling, and our defense is just making life difficult for Georgia, and we lead 10 now. More of a run going for him there. Think about a timeout. Yeah, there we go. I went ahead and used my first timeout as they were closing the gap a bit, but it's actually not going our way as they continue to close the gap. But we can see a big defensive struggle here early on for the stats. We're -6 on rebounds. That's not good. -1 on turnovers. But here we go. Excellent defense as they are just 20% from the field, but we're not doing much better on offense. 26-25 at the half. Free throws. Ouch, we are not getting the line at all. But luckily they don't have a ton of free throws themselves. We are shooting well from beyond the arc, though we don't have a lot of attempts from there. In fact, we're shooting better beyond the arc than we are inside the arc. Again, our defense is playing excellent, but as they shoot the ball a little bit better, we are falling behind. We are down 5, now just 3. There's 8 minutes left to play. The negative on rebounding and the major negative on turnovers really hurting us. We're not protecting the ball terribly well. I'm going to use 1 timeout as there's only 5. Come on, let me get one in. There we go. Just 3 minutes left to play. I'm going to slow down just for the final 3 minutes. It's 53-46 Georgia. 2 big negatives. I'm -7 on rebounds, and I'm -9 on turnovers. What amazing defense. They are just 16 of 62 in this game. Monroe blocked that shot, but this is really hurting because they are getting to the free throw line way more than I am. Timeout. There's only 20 seconds left. Timeout. That's too late. 55-46, we lose. We did, like I said, I've got a good defense, and you could really see it there. What did not pan out for me, though, was rebounds, though we cut it to -2. But we did not take care of the ball well today at all. So a lot of turnovers. And it wasn't that they had a ton of steals. I mean, steals, we were only -1. So a lot of that was our ball handling was really poor today. And maybe that could be that they had really good defense as well. We only shot 32% from the field ourselves. Waltman had 15 points. Monroe, 9 on just 4 of 10 shooting. Steele was just 1 of 9 shooting. So kind of see where we went wrong on that game as we went down to Georgia. We'll see if we get another game here in this tournament on the next day. No. Just a one and done. We've got Albany here in a few days. And let's go ahead and finish the week off. I think we're still inside that week. So we do drop to 1-1, and next 4 games, all on the road, and at least 3 of them against tough opposition. So a little nervous about the schedule coming up, and really, if we can get even 1 win in the next 4, we'll be in okay shape. But 2 wins out of the next 4 would actually be fantastic. So all 3 guys just signed letter of intents. That is good. They are keeping their commitment. And let's see here. Yeah, Georgia, Conference C. Alabama A&M was Conference I, so that's the conference I just left behind. Albany in our next game is Conference K, so that's still going to be tough competition, as is Alcorn State. And UConn, Conference A, even though they opened with a loss. Okay, on to recruiting. Johnson, that's the one we care about right now. And no, we did not get any interest from him by offering him a scholarship. And he hung up on us, so goodbye, sir. Johnson, not happening, which means I now have 0 point guards on the list. Again, Webb, nice fallback, decent enough player, defense, scoring, nothing bad. C's and B's kind of throughout, is an okay player. That's, 2.5 star, maybe a 3 star kind of player, meaning he'll at some point give us decent depth, or could, in a pinch, be a starter if we end up short at small forward. And we could certainly get him. We don't want to lose somebody, but there are better small forwards out there too. Now, what I could do though is drop the shooting guards, because we have one, a good one in Jones, underrated. At least get rid of the bad one here in Maxwell, who's just a C overall. So let's go ahead and get rid of him. Trim this list down a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now we just have some small forwards, which is a position that, yes, I need, but not as desperately as I need point guard. Eagles, kind of our backup to Jones right now. Maybe, just maybe, we'll hang on to the guy. But I need to go on a point guard hunt. And we are set up for national. I need to hide those guys. Okay, and we're going to go off the top of this list. These guys should be, yeah. So I might even go as far as trying to add in 10 here initially. I don't have any GPA information or anything, so I think we're just gonna kind of jump on these first 10 guys. Stoudemire. I had a Damon Stoudemire rookie special edition signed draft day poster and card. He went on to have a pretty decent career in the NBA. He's not headed for Hall of Fame or anything like that, but he was a pretty decent player. Alright, so there you go. There's 10 guys that are still available in the position. Lucius I should have left out because he's only got a 2.3 GPA, but I already clicked the button before I passed him. Alright, we'll get a look at these first 10, and see a couple JC guys in there. And that's all we're going to do this week. I'm not going to mess with the other guys recruiting-wise. And let's go ahead and sim the week. So again, 2 road games at 2 mid-higher tier teams. I think both Conference K or something like that. At least that's 2 of our next 3 games anyway. Hey, we got a win. 2-1 now. So we did. So we already got 1 out of 4. That's pretty big. That says a lot about this team that we can win one of those games. Said it would be huge if we go 2-2 on these 4 road games. 3-1. Now next up though is UConn. UConn's not ranked. That 1 loss and they dropped from 7th to unranked. That is a huge plummet for 1 loss. Which means that must have been a team that's really low, like quite low RPI.
You have new mail.
Our RPI jumped 50 spots with those 2 road wins. Now 3-1, guaranteed 500 on this road trip, which is awesome. That's more than I could have hoped for. Wow, UConn's just 1-1, and look at this. You got like Duke is 6-0 already. UCLA is 6-0. No wonder they're not ranked because they've only picked up a single win on the season so far. A lot of teams here with good records, and West DC now 13th at 4-0. I believe they're in my conference and moved up with me if I'm thinking of the right team. They started the season ranked about 23rd or 24th. Boy, if I were to beat UConn and win the other game and go 4-0 on this road trip with my only loss to being neutral to Georgia, I could be ranked. I mean, Georgia is 10th right now at 4-1. So my RPI would jump quite a bit. Getting ahead of myself, though. Getting way ahead of myself. Can I win this game? Yeah, potentially. I've got a pretty good team this year. But they are still going to be heavy favorites. All right, recruiting. What did we get? Let's just isolate the point guards. And we've got a lot of Bs, just a few Cs. One guy that's pretty good at scoring, but all of them decent scorers. We already got some interest out of this JC guy. That's good. That's promising. And I'm desperate for a point guard. Getting a JC. I don't know if he's a sophomore or junior coming in, but that would be tolerable because he'll be further along. GPA is going to be a factor, like Stoudemire. 2.6 should be enough. Phillips might be enough. 2.4 is not enough, but as a JC transfer, it is. These last 2 guys, though, Lucius Armstead, not happening. So let me start by getting them off the list. Okay, the rest of these, workable. Phillips, borderline. Defense. Phillips, D. Okay, borderline and a D on defense. Goodbye, sir. Not interested. Okay, now we do have another D on defense. Ranked 90th overall. And a JC transfer with a decent enough GPA. I like this guy right off the bat here. He's good with the ball. And he's good on D. This guy's good on D, but not quite as good with the ball. It's Stoudemire. I love calling that name during games. In fact, when that whole Stoudemire thing happened with Damon Stoudemire, that was the Jailblazers era. That was the time where the Blazers. It was okay not to be a fan of the Blazers for a while. That was the one and only era where attendance has not been sellout after sellout after sellout every single game throughout the history of the organization, pretty much. The 90s, the Rip City, the late 80s, that was amazing growing up with that. And then that Jailblazers era where half the team was being arrested. A couple of them each month were getting arrested. A lot of it was marijuana stuff, which, of course, legal in Oregon, Washington these days, and lots of other states are adopting that and not seen as such a big deal anymore. But a lot of other DUIs and drug convictions, it was mostly drug related, but there were a few weapons charges during that period of time, and you had a few players that were over aggressive. Rasheed Wallace that got ejected from game after game after game, and they picked up this nasty reputation, and they were called the Jailblazers for good 5-6 years. And I stopped watching them. Did not care. Did not want to see them. Didn't go to games during that period. I, like many others, had enough of that. Let's keep things going here. Try to give all these guys a call and get things moving. Langston Charles out of Minnesota, Edina, Minnesota. Cares about the academics. That's good for us. He's got some interest now. Let's, I got some money to spend. Let's go scout him. Go see him play. There's Nick Stoudemire. Worley, we already got through to. Okay, there you go. We'll work just with this list for a little while. Well, let's get back to it. We're going to see this UConn game. 2-1 now. A division. Big team that's been in and around the top 10 throughout this series. Seeing them unranked right now is absolutely unheard of, and maybe the first time. And maybe that means they're vulnerable. I doubt it. I would expect they're going to get back to being ranked here real soon. And this is not a neutral territory. We are in Connecticut. We are on the opposite end of the country. We are not going to have any fan support whatsoever. And we start down 2-0 3 minutes before we get our first bucket. But UConn, 1 of 9 shooting to open the game. Boy, if I can get my offense going, we can just roll over some teams. Our defense is good. We have got a good defense. That's for sure. But we need a little help on offense. We're down just 4 points here so far. Mid first quarter, we are plus. Well, we were plus on rebounds. It's level now. Turnovers is level. Again, we are shooting terrible, but they're shooting bad. They just jumped to 40% there as they started running away with things. We're down 21 at the half as they caught fire. 0 for 5 beyond the arc. Just 9 free throw attempts. Luckily, they've only had 8. Rebounds are about level, but turnovers -4. And them catching fire. Look at that. They are slaughtering us. Big timeout. We got to try to get something going here. Still can't get any momentum. There we go. A little bit of momentum. Cut the gap from about 30 to almost 20. 3 minutes left. We're getting blown out here. Monroe's having a rough day. Just 1 of 7 shooting. 6 points for him. Steele's doing all right. Fitz is having an okay day. Nearly grabbed a double-double. Monroe had more rebounds than he had points. So when your best player is completely shut down, of course you're going to go down. We go down 83, 62, minus 5 rebounds, minus 8 turnovers. We did get outshot just barely, and it was that run they went on. I mean, they rolled off almost 20 straight points on us. We held them. We kept them off the free throw line pretty well, but 13 of 37 beyond the arc. That's rough to keep up with. I mean, they made more than we attempted, and we are supposed to be not frequent, but we are supposed to have a lot more than 12 attempts from beyond the arc in a game. We should be attempting closer to 20. It got ugly. We got back into it a little bit, 36-36 second half. But we've got to shoot better than that. Provo's undefeated right now. So if we are going to have a winning record on this road trip, it's going to take a big bounce back game. Monroe is our leading scorer so far. Moore is our leading assist guy, playing the point guard position, and Fitz is dominating the big guy stats. I would imagine that UConn's back on their way into the top 25. Wow, still no. Boy, that loss must have really, really been a low RPI school. Provo, 4-0. Let's get to recruiting first here. Check on those point guards. Still just the 2 guys, so no help from my assistant coach this week. Oh, we're still in the week. Okay, that's why. My bad. Let's finish the week off here. Okay, and we steal one. 4-2. Okay, we're a good team. We're just not an elite team. UConn is definitely an elite team. Ranked or unranked. 85-78, the win at Provo. So we go to Utah and pull it off 50% from the field. They shot 44 though themselves. But just 9% beyond the arc while we were 44. So 4 of 7 from Chris Monroe, 3 of 7 from Andre Moore. 23 points for Moore. Huge game for him. 17 for Waltman. 16 for Monroe. Fitz added 12. Good day at the office. We were actually down at halftime too. Okay, now we move into the home games. And I was worried that we were going to be 1-5. I worried too much. We're 4-2 right now. But I kind of thought we'd get one of them, so I suppose really I thought we would be about 2-4 right now. But 4-2, that makes me happy. But the 2 losses, 2 elite teams. So I'm absolutely not at that stage yet, but I've got a good team. It's not a great team. And it's going to take a deep run to get there because my prestige keeps hovering at a low mark. We are way below those teams, and as I keep competing and keep moving up, it's gonna take some wins against some big teams to build some prestige. Like, we crack the top 25 occasionally, every once in a while. Just not often enough. Okay, did I finish the week finally? No idea. No idea what day. It's Saturday. We've still got a day or two to go to get out of this week.
You have new mail.
All right. Getting into the conference games here soon. But these are all some winnable games coming up. You got Charleston Southern 2-4. Colorado State was 1-3. Time of the scouting report. Portland State 2-4. Some lower divisions, home games. I'm not guaranteeing that we're going to go undefeated in those home games, but I like our chances. All right, we did reach a new week, I believe, finally. Okay, still just the two guys. And we get through to Jarvis. Maybe if I can get a hold of Tony Stark, we can get an advantage here with Jarvis. And if you don't know that reference, you definitely do not watch enough superhero movies, particularly Marvel ones. Okay, we're already out of time here. We're getting there, bit by bit. Alright, let's cruise through the week here. We're hoping for an undefeated run here. Wow, my RPI actually jumped to 33rd. We went from 101st to 33rd over the last couple weeks, despite a loss to UConn. 5-2. Next up, Colorado State. They're just 1-6. That's got to be a win. This is like 90%. That's as sure as a thing as I've had in a long time. 6-2. Injured player. And it was kind of close. Injured player. What's the damage? What's the damage? Waltman, starting shooting guard. He's at 75% for the next couple weeks with a sprained finger. That's tolerable. That's okay. We'll get by. Okay, I don't think we finished off the week though. Yeah, no, it's Friday. Alright, next game on the calendar is our rivalry game. It's Portland State. This is actually the best record they've had in a while, and we lost last year to Portland State on the road when they only had 1 or 2 wins, and we were looking real strong. So I am going to be out for revenge on this. It is our rival. They always play better when we play them, even though they are many, many conferences below us, even though we started below them. But always a challenge because it is the conference game. Alright, anything in the news? Nope, just our final non-conference game. Alright, we're picking up some progress. Yeagle likes us a bit more now. Webb still likes us. Where we at? Still 3rd on his list. Yeagle haven't cracked the top 10. But let's head to where we need to go. The point guards. 7 that we're working on. Alright, Jarvis, what do you like? Location? Well, Tennessee's not going to help us. Conference prestige? That's not going to help us. Facilities, academics are the only things that we could recruit him on. And I think it's time I watch film on these guys again. Not getting anywhere with West, but Charles we've made some ground on. That finishes him off. Facilities, this is a recruitable player. Location, no, I can't get after him on that, but academics, facilities, that's definitely a player we could go after. He's a good scorer, outside shooter, good defender, so we might go after Langston Charles here, but I still want that point of comparison. There's not going to be any contact with these players for quite a while still. Yes, okay. Watch film. We still have a little bit of time. Arden, hey, we got through to him too. We got parent info, nothing else, but at least we got that unlocked. And Worley. Guess I could have just stayed there. Worley, watch film. Braswell, watch film. There we go. That should be all 7 of them. And we probably only have the one game this week with Portland State. And I'm also right at the edge of my time for this episode, so these last, 3 games of the non-conference schedule, all 3 home games. Hopefully all 3 wins, but we'll see. Wow, my RPI dropped after 2 wins. That's how it goes. UConn is back into the rankings, by the way, and we do win against Portland State, 7-2 now. Poughkeepsie is up next. I love that name. It is quite humorous. I have no idea if it's a real school. Obviously, it's based on a real school, but I don't know what school it is. But I love that they've got the mascot as a dog, and Poughkeepsie the Pooh. Yes, they're making poo jokes here. Anyway, UConn back into the rankings. Just that opening loss to start the season. They finally start to overcome it as they're back up to 21st.
You have new.
Duke's still on top and UCLA right behind them, both keeping pace, undefeated so far. And how is Notre Dame ranked number 3? I mean, that's absurd. They're 8-4. They shouldn't be ranked at all, or at least down here around 25th. I mean, come on, UConn, right? UConn has just 1 loss, and they started the season ranked 7. So how is UConn worse than Notre Dame? And by the way, Wolverine Studios, Michigan grads. I get it, but why isn't it Michigan that's unfairly outranked? Because Michigan's a decent program, but they have ups and downs. They're roller coaster kind of programs, so they don't have super high prestige. But in basketball, come on, Notre Dame, really? Notre Dame has been like the top 5 every freaking year of this playthrough. Everyone. They're 8-4, and they still can't leave the top 4. It's messed up, guys. Messed up. They shouldn't even be ranked. Sorry, I got this thing against Notre Dame. I do. I admit it. I've lost track of time. It's Sunday. It's recruiting time. And I'm out of time for the episode, but there's 2 games left, 1 week left in the non-conference schedule, so I'll finish it up. We're getting there on the basic recruitment of these guys now. Bit by bit. My ratings seem to be the same still. Okay, we're through Jarvis. West doesn't like me. Stoudemire. We're getting there now. What do we have? Playing time, academic. Not looking good. Okay, we got most of it done. Academics are high. Okay, Arden's a maybe. And we get through this last week. Not enough time to watch one of these last two games. RPI is up to 42nd. It's coming back up there. Nice 7-2 record here. With both losses coming to teams in the top 25. Georgia's 21st right now at 7-3. And we go to 8-2. Greenville next. That's the toughest game I've had here at home so far. Greenville's 5-4. Come on, make it 9-2. Make it 9-2. We still got a couple days, huh?
You have new mail.
Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, whichever it is. People of 2036. No, not you listening. People of 2036. Just kidding. Yeah, Conference G. Oh wow, yeah, that's not a gimme. But we get our conference games going. So, Hawaii 1-9. Ouch. Montana 3-7. Okay, recruiting. Let's make it quick. Guards. Call list. Okay, only one guy left that we haven't generated at least a little bit of buzz in, and we get through to him. So there you go. That's all 7 of them actively talking to me now. Okay, location, New Hampshire. Yeah, we're not good there. Facilities is the only thing I could recruit this guy on. So Charles, scoring, defense. Not a good free throw shooter. He's not going to steal. He's not going to get many rebounds, but as a point guard, I don't need my point guards to get rebounds. Ranked 92nd. I think I'm ready to offer, but I'll handle that later. Stoudemire could be our next in line. Cumberland, Maryland. The Cumberland Gap. Academics, location, we're not good there. But facilities might be up there. He's kind of following that trend. Alright, last non-conference game. By the way, I worried about academics in September. Hopefully not addressing it again through December is not going to hurt me. We do get the win, 9-2. That wraps up the non-conference schedule. Happy birthday to me in 2036. Oh man, I'm going to be old by that point. Whew. And yeah, Hawaii's coming up next. That's going to be a good opener to the season. They're 1-10. We should cruise past them. Let's take a look at a few team stats here before we call it an episode. Monroe, 14.5 points a game. Moore's up into the 5 assist area. Fitz is still dominating things. Offense is not what it was a year ago, where we were definitely high ranked. But suddenly, it is our defense that's dictating the games. Defense wins championships. It gets you to 9-2 records. Also, 14th best defense in the nation. 22nd on allowing assists. 13 in steals. We're forcing a lot of steals. Turnovers could be higher. It's just 75th, though. Our turnovers, not much better at 57th. but at least in the top 100. Blocks, we're not getting blocked as often this year. We got blocked a lot last year. But rebounds, wow, rebounds up to 21st. Assists, points just 81st. I was, 4th a year ago? So we definitely lost some points. Yeah, there you go. So UConn, back up to 6th. Back where they belong. Freaking A. And Georgia, 94, 24th. So both of my losses are in the top 25 still. RPI, 38th. I could see my way into the top 25 if I can keep on rolling. But final look. Here is that non-conference. Baltimore's 8-3. Valparaiso 9-2. They came up with us. Charlotte's 7-5. Wisconsin Green Bay is 9-4. We are 9-2. Not too many good records in conference. RPI. Baltimore's 32nd. Valparaiso's 30th. Wisconsin Green Bay 87th. And we're 38th. We got some competition on our hands. But it looks like top 3 or 4 could be a little bit of a runaway. Wisconsin, Green Bay, 4-2 on the road. Baltimore 6-3 on the... Wow, they only had 2 home games. No wonder their RPI is so high. Valparaiso's kind of standard, 5-0 at home, 4-2 on the road. That's similar to us, 6-0 at home, 3-2 on the road. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.